Hi everyone, Alencia here from Make It From Home, makeitfromhome.com, where you can find comfortable home appliances, office supplies to actually make it happen from the comfort of your own home. Today we have with us Jennifer, who will share a little bit about her background and how she makes it happen from home. Jennifer, take it away.
Thank you. So my background is I have a bachelor's in behavioral science and I have a master's in organizational leadership. And I have come from working in education, healthcare, family advocacy, and inside sales account management. And that led me kind of into this path of customer success. So I originally had applied for a job for another completely different role with this company. And they saw my resume and they interviewed and they were like, actually, we might like you for this instead. So I was like, I'd never heard of customer success before this. It's kind of a newer industry. And so I took a look at the job posting and I was like, yeah, this is something I can do. It's what I like doing. It's the customer side of the business where you're not so tied up in the sales cycle of everything. You're post sales. So I really like that. That was appealing to me. And then also uh, helping the customer maximize the value of whatever it is that they have bought, whether it's software, whether it's hardware, anything like that. Because I'm not sure from you, but I'm in the tech space.
Yes.
So SaaS. So that was what was appealing, and I really enjoy helping them see the value in the system that they've purchased and going from there as far as meeting their goals. And I like connecting with them. I get to only connect with them about twice a year, but if they need me in between, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm their voice. I'm their advocate, if you think about it that way.
Right, that's very good. It's always good to have an internal voice. And one of the questions that I have for you with your role and what you're currently doing, how did your position got affected due to COVID and the workplace?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, March 2020, when COVID came full blast into the US, is when I started working remote full time.
Mm-hmm.
Our CEO at the time was very like, everybody just go be safe, just go. We don't need to be in the office. And
Right.
so we went, and I was happy about it because that was something I was trying to do anyway. I was actually 1 day a week remote prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to expand it to full time. And so it was nice to be able to do that. We all adjusted very well. We proved very quickly that we had no hiccups. Everybody was able to seamlessly transition because everything we do is cloud based.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I have been remote full time since last March.
I love it. I love it. You
Yep.
mentioned that being able to get your work done fully remote. And that I
Yep.
think is what employers need to hear, and also people who are looking at home for a remote position to know that it's possible to get all your work done at home and do an amazing job at it so that your employer can see there's no need to go back to office. Now that you're working fully remote, how do you find that with not being able to communicate, you can communicate with your team members on a one-on-one via Zoom and different chat channels. Do you find that you have a chance to connect with a broader team members versus if you were in office, where most of the time you wouldn't get a chance if you didn't see me by the coffee station to have a chat and we're not on the same team, it would be harder to actually have that one-on-one conversation versus now you're just one chat away to say, hey, Susie, let's hop on a call. How have you been able to utilize that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. A good point. I think in the beginning, like in the summer, I mentioned that to several of my coworkers, like, wow, normally we're in the office and we're so like kind of huddled in as our team that we don't really connect with the other people who are all across the United States. And so I realized I actually had started communicating more with them as a result of working remote,
Oh,
and about the same with my coworkers that I had been in the office with. So, yep, it was kind of a perk. I was like, this is nice.
yes, this is definitely super nice. Now, Jennifer, you and I just met via LinkedIn. So We both are working remote, and one of the things that I'm working on is being able to tell people at home that making it from home is definitely possible. It doesn't matter what your background is, and like you just mentioned, like you do have the education to back it, but you're working remotely and you're working for a SaaS company. What can you share have been your experience, especially during this time to transition, and what can you share with someone at home who's on the fence trying to make it happen from home but don't know how to start?
Yeah, I would say primarily organization is going to be key. Like making sure that you're disciplined enough and set some boundaries for yourself, because I think I'm sure you've probably heard this, a lot of people will put in way more hours than they really need to be because they're working from home. Um, so set your work hours, have some boundaries around that, have some work-life synergy.
Mhm.
Um, Make sure you have a dedicated workspace. I found that that was important to be able to have a door that shuts, or at least some way to block off the family life a little bit if I
Yes,
needed to.
yes.
But I love that, I'm here when my daughter gets home from school and I can, send her off to the bus in the morning, because I don't have to worry about that commute time anymore. But I actually start my day earlier because of it. So it's like I said, it's a synergy.
Definitely. And how have you been able to take care of your own self balance, like mental health, your physical health, your just how are you able to take care of Jennifer, being that you're working remotely and you have to take care of everything else, like you're your own boss now, right?
Yep, yep. Yeah, great question. So I have to schedule exercise because otherwise
Yes.
I will forget to do it. So that's in my calendar. I've been making really good use of my calendar. So I get a nice reminder that it's time for yoga at 5 o'clock, and that reminds me, okay, it's 5 o'clock. I need to stop. I need to walk away. During the day, I take more breaks. I take my dog out to go to the bathroom or just for a little walk around the community. So it's just kind of like finding those little ways to just kind of get away from the desk and come back kind of refreshed a little bit and recharged.
Oh, wow, that's great to hear. That's definitely great to hear. That's something that I find I'm able to do is take care more of Valencia. That the extra time from not commuting, that 2 extra hour, I can
Yep,
schedule time to actually cook a nice home meal, get a nice
exactly.
workout in, and also have time to play with the kids. So I'm
Right.
definitely same boat with you there. Definitely same boat. One of the things that I find that's important to talk about, and especially when it comes to apply for a new job, finance is something that you find out towards like the middle of the interview process. How much is your employer offering for that position? And I wanted to make sure that audiences who are listening to this conversation really start having those conversations with their kids, with their spouse, with their coworkers of what is the salary range for this position? What should I be looking for to ask for during my next role or transition? Because I've gotten this and this talent or this extra, activity under my belt, how much should I ask for? And I feel like the conversations have been, you'll get what you're worth, but it's good to have that conversation. I know it's new. I want to get your input when it comes to like negotiating and have you approached that topic? Not to say about like how much you make, but it's just kind of like, how do you actually start talking to your kids about finance? Pretty much almost.
Oh, that's a good question
Especially you're
too.
working from home. So right now we're
Yeah.
on a lot more of what the employee would have to cover. So if you think about it, you're working from home, you're using your own electricity, you're using
Yep.
your own internet, you're using your own phone sometimes, you're using your own water. I mean, I didn't negotiate anything when it comes to like my home environment. That's
Yeah.
something I need to learn. But
Yeah.
also because I transitioned to another industry, I was like, oh, you can just pay me that. That's more than enough. And so I realized I left so much money on the table. Um, how have
That's a
you
good
been able
point.
to approach that when it comes to like,
I think you're right on the right track, because when you are negotiating salary, you're not thinking about those things you just mentioned, which is if I'm going to work remote, that would play into the compensation package, I would think. That
right?
I'm going to be using my own internet, my own water, my own electricity to take care of my business day,
Yes.
then where's I need that compensation for that somewhere. But and also, I always felt like remote work was a perk. And now I feel like there's
Yes.
a new trend of going, not a perk anymore. It
No,
is.
exactly, exactly. Like I'm
It
sure
is here.
before I would take less pay. I would be like, keep
That's
some
what I
of the money,
mean.
I'll work
Yeah.
remote. So
Yeah, I would think I would have to take less pay because I'm not going into the office. But when you think about it, you're making a great point that but I'm using my own things for this. So yeah, no, I mean, even though they supply the laptop and the monitor and the headset and all that, it's my desk. I bought
right.
that. It's my chair. I bought that. Even though I would have
Wow.
it normally,
Mhm.
you wouldn't think about, yeah, the internet piece. Um, and to transition, I guess, to talking about it like with kids, it's, my daughter's 11, and so she sees me working at home, and she
Yeah.
knows that I'm legit working. I'm not just sitting in here like, reading a book or got my feet
Right.
up.
Mom's
She just
working.
sees it. So I think it's communicating that value of what you actually do to them so they understand there's worth that
Yes.
it's hard. Companies, so compensation is benchmarked.
Hmm.
And I think that there's like people that live in the cities who want to keep their city salaries and want to move out, wherever they want to live. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yes,
Wouldn't that be
that would
nice?
be nice. Yes.
But the reality is you no longer qualify for those uh, ranges, I guess, the salary range. So yeah, I would want to know the salary range of a position and if it includes being able to work remote. And if there's a difference, is the salary range different if I'm working remote versus in the office?
In the office,
Um,
exactly.
I don't think it should be, but that's just my opinion on that one.
Wow.
Um, yeah.
That's another one. I'm just starting to do my own research on that. And I think at times when we would interview, they more so are targeting what are your qualifications when you're having the conversation about the role. And once you get the job, then they add like, your location, of course, somebody who's in San Francisco. But I feel like being able that we can do our jobs, deliver the same amount of work and do quality of work remotely, I think the pay should still be similar. Maybe, because I'm
Yep.
living, but at the same time, even though like say I'm not in San Francisco, if I moved to Florida, which I did, I still want nice things. I still want to
Of
be a part
course.
of nice communities. So I still want to challenge because if you think about it, like we've already built a certain habit, a certain
Hmm.
lifestyle. So for
Yep.
your employer to say, well, now that you're not in California, I want to actually reduce your salary to
Yeah.
a Florida salary. I think it's like I would even
That's
want to challenge that, but
Yeah,
that's
that's tough.
interesting.
It's a tough, I mean, to start out with, you wouldn't know, but if you're like what you're saying, if you're already working for the company and you were making that salary in California, you move to a new state. Well, I guess that's a conversation you need to have before you actually move because you've got
Right.
some decisions to make. I mean,
Think
yeah, if
about
you're
your
trying to uphold a
lifestyle.
lifestyle, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, your kids, they know they don't know maybe what everything costs in life
Right.
yet, but it's our job to educate them on that.
That's true. That's true. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about like your lifestyle. I think if we can share with someone at home who's looking to start working remotely, who's looking for a remote opportunity. You mentioned lifestyle. It's not the same amount of work that you do the same amount of work like you would with somebody who work in office. But of course, well, since you're working from the beauty of your own home, you're technically your own managers, you're doing your
Mhm.
own thing. Your lifestyle is going to be totally different. Just a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap it up and letting people know that it's possible for them. It's possible for anyone. If I can do it, Jennifer can do it. I mean, she's qualified, but we want to let them know that they can definitely get it done for sure.
Sure. So you're talking about in terms of like how I structure my day.
Hmm.
So part of the beauty of working from home for me is that my daughter goes on the bus around 7:20 in the morning. So I would not be here to be able to like go out with her and say good morning, have a great day. I would be already in my car on the way to the office.
Yeah.
And I would miss out on that time with her. And then from there I come in and I start my day around 7:30 because I'm checking emails and replying to things that are, not critical, just like things that are quick replies. And then from like 8 to noon, it's meetings. with customers or internal or any of my CS tasks I have to take care of. And then I do take a lunch from 12 to 1. I block my calendar off so that
Yeah.
I actually have my lunchtime. Yes, there's occasions when that doesn't get, has to get changed a little bit. If I have an appointment or someone needs to meet during that time, that's fine. I'm flexible. I'll just move my block around to another time.
Right.
Um, and then from like 1 to 4-ish, 1 to 3:30 is still customer success tasks, meetings. And then around 3:30, I have my calendar blocked off again because that's when my daughter gets home from school and I want to be present. If
Yes.
I cannot be in a meeting, I will do what I can to not be in a meeting during that time, at least to say hi, give her a hug, ask her how her day was, and then I get back to my work. Again, if I was in the office, I wouldn't have that opportunity to be present for her. So it's that's the work-life synergy, and I think after that, it's 4 to 5 is wrapping up my day, and then I am done. 5 o'clock, this goes off.
Yes, it's
I have to have
definitely.
structure. Yeah, you got
Yes, the
to.
structure is great. And the way what you just explained to me is what I feel like a lot of mom can actually take advantage of or utilize. Because for me, seeing my kids wake up in the morning and know, like, okay, this is what their day, my day is going to look like, but I know how they start out the day. And also to be home, to actually go and pick him up and bring him home and ask how his day went. It's like those are things that I feel we all have the opportunity to experience since we're working remotely. And I think that's our new reality. And I definitely appreciate you, Jennifer, for taking the time to have this conversation with me and to show with everyone at home that it's possible for them. What is one suggestion that you would make when someone is saying, I see this it's probably possible for me, but I don't even know where to start. And the self-doubt is starting that, can I manage myself and get the work done from home? When it's not about the role, because there are definitely employers who have, on LinkedIn alone, there's over 450,000 remote positions available. So that means the role is there, but someone at home is saying, I don't know. Why would you share with them when it's that internal self-doubt that they're dealing with?
I think the best thing that they can do for themselves is to learn to manage the priorities and do as much organization as they can of their day. If you put structure around that, you're going to be okay because you know what you're supposed to be doing throughout the day. You're not, I mean, yes, it's easy to get distracted, but you got to just shift your focus back and have that work mindset during work hours.
Awesome. Oh man, I love it. So if you're at home, take the key points that we just shared on this video and definitely feel free to reach out to me. Jennifer, she's amazing. She literally accepted my message and be like, sure, I'll have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And it's our first time meeting and you guys have the inside view of what our conversation was about. So for you guys at home who are on the fence and not sure how to make it happen from home, definitely know it's possible for you. And a nice home office setup is definitely another key to success. But don't take my word for it. But if you do need a home office setup, definitely visit makeitfromhome.com where you can get your comfortable, safe home office setup. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I will
Thank
talk to
you.
you soon.